Hi, I'm Max Hils from the University of Innsbruck, and I would like to give you a quick overview of our IMC paper. We value your privacy. If you live in the European Union or California, you have probably read that phrase many times. The question we are asking is, how come that every other website embeds the same lie using the exact same phrasing over the last couple of years? Well, the reason for that is the introduction of new privacy laws. GDPR in 2018 and CCPA early this year created a new demand for consent management solutions. We now have companies such as Quantcast and OneTrust that offer cookie dialogues as a service, and that is the reason why you see the same dialogue on multiple websites again and again. Our paper measures the emergence of this ecosystem over time. In this graph here, you see the adoption of 5 leading consent management providers in the Tranco 10K. We can see 3 spikes, each of them corresponding to a change in the policy landscape. The first spike is undoubtedly GDPR, and the second and third spike correspond to the introduction of CCPA and the CCPA enforcement date in California. It is also very interesting to see what doesn't cause spikes in adoption. When French data protection authorities fined Google 50 million euros for GDPR violations, CMP adoption did not change significantly. Another interesting observation is that depending on the legislation, different providers benefit. Quantcast clearly picked up customers when GDPR launched in Europe, but OneTrust is the main benefactor from the launch of CCPA. For this research, we have used the Netograph measurement platform. The way Netograph works is that it continuously ingests posts from social media, then extracts all URLs from those posts, and sends those URLs to web crawlers located in US and EU data centers. Each URL is then visited by a Chrome headless instance, and page metadata, including all request headers, cookies, and so on, is stored. Crucially, the platform does not store full request and response bodies due to the very high volume of URLs. At the moment, Netograph ingests about 5 million URLs per month. In addition to the main Netograph platform, we then also set up a second top list-based measurement. Here, we crawl the Tranco 10K from the University of Innsbruck as a vantage point and retain all HTTP contents. For our analysis, we combine both sources. Of course, it's very important to normalize by top list because Netograph by itself highly oversamples domains that are popular on social media. The second part we study in our paper is the behavior of ad tech vendors. If we return to the Quantcast dialog in the beginning and click on More Options, we are presented with a list of specific data processing purposes. Now, it turns out that on many websites, those purposes are actually standardized in a framework from the IAB, the Internet Advertising Bureau. We can use their data to track longitudinally what vendors claim to do with your data. Here we have a result that requires a bit of explanation. Under the IAB's framework, vendors can either seek consent for specific data processing purposes, or they can declare that they have a legitimate interest. A legitimate interest is a very specific construct under GDPR. The main idea here is that even if I as a user do not consent to any data processing, they can still continue doing so on the basis of their legitimate interest. This makes a lot of sense if you think about fraud prevention, for example. However, the IAB's framework allows you to declare legitimate interest for any data processing purpose defined in the first version of the standard. If we look at this chart, we see that a bit more than 200 vendors seek consent for the purpose of measurement, which is usage statistics for product improvements and so on. At the same time, there are about 150 vendors which claim a legitimate interest for that purpose. This means that even if you click reject all in your cookie dialog, those vendors still claim they have a legal ground for processing your personal data and will continue doing so. Before we get too angry with ad tech vendors, let me finish up here. If you want more details, please watch the video or read the paper. I'm Maximilian Hils, and this was joint work with Daniel Woods and Rainer Böhme from the University of Innsbruck in Austria.